Alright, so let's see if this is working for me. How is ATP remade? The reverse opposite, another enzyme, ATP synthase. We're going to be talking a lot about this one and how it's turning it from ATP, adenosine triphosphate, into adenosine diphosphate when we took that last phosphate off, and now there's only 2 phosphates. So when we have 2, there's no energy. Remember, it's that energy between the second and third. So you have your ATP cycle constantly going back and forth. We want those ATPs in order to get our energy. And so, when is ATP made in the body? Cellular respiration. Woohoo! Everything we talked about. So this happens in all of your billions and millions of cells. So, where does this happen? Well, it can happen, surprisingly or not, in plants. So not just photosynthesis, and animals. So plants and animals both go through cellular respiration. We're going to talk about how plants are autotroph. My plant here needs to be by the sun so it can make its own food. That's called an autotroph, making its own. And my Jack Russell here, Apollo, he's a heterotroph. He's a consumer. He eats plants and other animals and all kinds of other stuff, but that's beyond the point. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. Thanks, Apollo. We can go through. I might take that very slow. There we go. Our plants and animals making it. Now, let's go into a little bit more about cell respiration. It has some pathways. We're going to talk about 3 different types. Some of those require oxygen. What happens is glucose is oxidized and oxygen is reduced. We're going to explain that here in a little bit. The whole thing, all cellular respiration is doing, is breaking down glucose. And so glucose, sugar, we eat things, we break it down. This whole reaction, that's what it's all about, is going from the start to the end of how glucose is broken down. And that is called an oxidation reduction reaction, or redox. And so breaking down one glucose results in, it's kind of hard to see on that screen, but 36 to 38 ATP molecules. So the overall equation, you're going to first come up with your products. And so these right here, are the, it's really hard to write in this, reactants and, really hard to see, reactants. So we have our glucose right here and oxygen. This is the stuff we take in, and it makes or yields or produces, and that says CO2. I think our little screen thing's in the way. So we produce CO2, breathe it out, water, there's some electrons in there, and then wonderful ATP, our energy. That's what we are producing during cell respiration. So it is a redox reaction. I'm going to talk more about what that means. Oxidation of glucose. What this means is that the electron right here is removed from C6H12O6, or sugar. Really watch these H's. That's where our electrons are at. So when you see the H going away, there's oxidation. When you see an H coming, see, oxygen to hydrogen, we gained an H, that means it's a reduction. Kind of confusing, but pay attention. So, redox. Redox is when you're transferring one or more electrons. Oxidation is the loss of electrons. So, we lost electrons over here. Oops, I went through that kind of fast. And the gain, the reduction is the gain. So, oil rig. Oxidation is loss. Reduction is gain. It's opposite of what you would think. So we gained hydrogen during reduction. Alright, what's carrying those? We're almost out of time here, so we'll start here again on my next video.